Boom. It's recording right now. It's recording 6:07, April 17th, 2024. What's up, everybody? It is our grit team meeting for the night, for the week, because we had games this weekend. So we weren't meeting this past Sunday. This Sunday coming up, we'll have games. So this is the weekly meeting. It's good to see the guys that are able to be seen that I'm seeing here. Clayton and Noah and Asher. Caleb, what's up? Coda, Rue, it's good to see you. Lane, Coach Luntz in the house. He's driving with the family. Cody just flipped on his camera. Maybe he's driving, but knows that he should have it pivoted so that way he's filling up the full face. Look at that guy. Just did it right there on command, on cue. Jacob Jones, good to see you. And we got Trent Corbin and Colton listening in, but unable to have their cameras on right now. So yeah, Lane's first time joining us. So we have had a few subtractions and some additions. So just to get everybody caught up, Lane Jr. from Dayton, Oregon, Dayton High School. Lane, I've coached against him for a number of years and I was always impressed by his game. And so, Lane, we're excited to have you in the Grit program. And this Friday night, he'll be at our practice. And then we'll be joining for the weekend tournament. Let's go. So glad to have you, Lane. And then Colton, because we did lose another player on the 16s, Aiden Hammond. Um, sadly, he said it was nothing against the coaches, the program. He just felt like it was a little too advanced for him and has had some family issues that he needs to be staying a little bit closer to home for. So maybe in the summer, maybe next year, Aiden will be back. But we have Baylor with a broken nose, having surgery. Sad, tough, unfortunate break. Um, like the first couple minutes of the 3 minutes into the game, went down or got hit and is going to have to come back, they think, with a mask. Last I heard was surgery tomorrow, but yeah, tough deal. So dropping those, we're looking at adding Colton, who's listening in, but we want to get to make sure that we don't just add players, but we also don't want you guys playing with only 6 or 7 players. So we'll keep you updated. That's Daniel Basali is not playing on the 17s. He's a senior, already decided where he's going to college and wants to get started on that next step. So he's not playing. So that's where we were able and fortunate enough to get Lane with us. Next thing, we just a recap of the weekend. I didn't get to see with the 16s, but heard it was a good showing, played some good teams, had a lot of learning, a lot of growth that has occurred and will continue to occur. Coach Bolger is in class tonight, so that's why he's not able to be on the call. He is still finishing up his schooling, so he is in class, but he had good things to say, and so did Coach Hellstrom. Coach Hellstrom is on the call, um, multitasking, but still making time and fitting it in, which I appreciate from the coaches and from the guys that are able to be on the call, even in the car. I see Clayton's in the car, or if even if you're listening in, that is appreciated. But then I was with the 17s. I was impressed with how things went. I know I'm going to turn it over to Coach Lunt here in a second and let him talk a little bit about the weekend. But I was impressed with the bounce back on Sunday and the defensive intensity on Saturday night. I thought you guys did what we asked, played hard and played together, and just a defense that led into the offense. They're blowing out 35. We beat that more than hoops team by 35, and they didn't expect it. And we came out and hit them, and it was fun. It was definitely a good game for our confidence. Then we dropped one, a tough one, but then bounced back and finished third out of the 12 teams in the tournament. So, Coach Lunt, I'm gonna turn it over to you, pass the call off, and let you take it from here.
Yeah, just a great weekend for Grit 17U, considering we've only really had one practice together. So was looking at the competition for this upcoming weekend. It's going to be another good tournament for us. So excited to compete. Um, I'm excited to practice at Pacific on Friday, which will be a lot of fun. So still a lot of growing and learning, but definitely getting better. And I thought we had a great showing for the weekend.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. Friday night practice will be great. Uh, Obviously, being at the university, having some of our players be able to be there. There's actually a recruit in town that I met. He's from the East Coast. He'll be there. So he's a junior college transfer that's looking at Pacific. So he'll be there Friday night. So we'll welcome him, introduce some of those guys, show him how Grit does it. But Coach Hellstrom, I'm going to turn it over to you. Not turn it over because everybody on this call probably knows that that's not something that I do. Don't know how many turnovers I had in college. Better ask somebody that was on the call when we went over that fun fact about Coach Miner. Coach Hellstrom, take it away.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's so good to see everyone today. I think that ours, our journey, kind of like what was described a little bit. We got, unfortunately, we probably got tested in terms of our toughness a little bit more than we wanted to in terms of some of the stuff, but I think everyone responded extremely well. I thought that both days, especially on the Saturday, that I felt like we really responded in terms of understanding what the resiliency part of Grit kind of meant, and really played well. And then I know that Coach Bolger really talked about in terms of Sunday having a tough first game, but then being able to adjust and do some really good things, whether it's playing a different zone trap or kind of adding some little wrinkles on regular or up or different things along those lines, and being able to execute those really well. So like I said, excited to get on the floor with everyone on Friday to kind of continue to iron out that sort of stuff, make sure that we're making great decisions on offense and defense like we have been doing, and to continue to build, the foundation of what Grit basketball is about.
Love it. It is a fun spot to be in because this is just the beginning. We're 1/5 of the way finished with our tournaments. So 1 out of 5 down. And I put us where I thought we would get competitive games and go 2-2, 3-1. So I'm not moving us down. I'm not trying to, I don't want to blow teams out, and obviously I don't want to get blown out, but trying to find competitive games, and we'll play different teams. Might see some of the same teams because we are playing mostly Portland area, but I think we use that as kind of a little bit of like rivalries and just embrace it and play who we play. That's not something that we really control. What we control is the energy and effort and all those things that we bring. But yeah, I thought it was a great weekend. I was pleased. Clayton, can you unmute? I got a question for you. I just want to ask real quick. Have you ever seen the original Top Gun movie?
Yeah, I did a while.
So you have seen Tom Cruise when he was younger, and Maverick wore the aviators about like what you're wearing?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Pretty I like the look. I was just wondering if you had seen the original Top Gun. Have you seen the new one?
No, I haven't seen the new one.
Haven't seen the new one, but saw the original. Okay, I respect it. If you've only seen one of the two, I'm glad it was the original. That's good. All right. Thanks, Clayton. That's all I had. Nothing, not going to call you out or anything because you have been doing your amplitude assignments. However, some of you have not. And the culprits will be called out and named. Names will be named on Friday. So if you guys haven't formed the group chat, get your group chat and make sure you guys reach out to everybody. I would, if I were you, if I was part of this program, I would try to, it's one thing to take care of your business. That's great. But you got to take to the next step and not just rise or raise your level. You got to bring up everybody around you. That's something that we want to teach you, because the best leaders not only, get their stuff done early and on time and do it right, but they also help bring up the level of everybody around them and hold their teammates accountable. So that's something that I want you guys to think about. If you have questions or need somebody's number or something, you can reach out. But definitely that's something I would do, because we will be running on Friday if we don't have everything turned in. So these are little things, like you got to ace the little stuff, you guys. Think about that, like just that thought. Like if you're writing things down, ace the easy. You got to be able to ace the easy stuff. If it's something little and easy, just make sure that you nail it. Because if it's hard and you slip and you maybe don't do your best, you're going to have a little leeway. But if you're the type that has been not doing your assignments and I'm having to remind you, then you have a tough assignment or you forget something, you're not going to have as much leeway. So if it's easy, take care of it. And I haven't asked you guys to do anything unreasonable. So Lane wasn't here when we did the Final Four assignment. We had the players do just a write-up on any team in the Final Four and a little bit about their story, who they are, their journey there, couple paragraphs. A paragraph would be better than nothing, which is what some people put in the folder. So we talk about you play for grit, you play for the name on the front, but you also play for the name on the back. Your name, your last name. And so some of you guys are not representing you or your family very well if you're not doing it. And so I challenge you guys as the leaders, the guys that do make time and prioritize these calls. And I'm not saying if you're watching this on replay that you don't, because there is people that communicate with me every time and say, hey, I'm at my track meet. It's a beautiful day. I'm out here. I wish I could be at the grit meeting, but I'm about to do my event. They're communicating with me and the other coaches. So I have no problem with some of those guys that are missing meetings, but coaches have been on the road. I get not being able to come if you're in class as a student, right? Or if you're a teacher and you're teaching or something. But if you're driving in the car, listen in. I know some of you guys are even getting lifts in right now, which, it's not ideal because it's better if you can be listening and taking notes, but it's better that you're listening in while you're lifting than not being on the call at all. But yeah, so I'll just say that the names will be named on Friday. So the assignments we've had, we haven't got the goal setting sheet out yet. So that's not something to worry about. But I would make sure the amplitude assignments have been done. And I would make sure that the Final Four assignment is in there. And those are the things. Lane doesn't have to go back and do the t-shirt design or the videos or things like that. But the Final Four assignments and the amplitude assignments, I hope you guys will have all those submitted in the folder or the amplitude assignments, because that stuff's important. And I keep saying it, but some of you aren't listening to those words. So if you're doing it, that's great. And I'm not talking to you completely, but also as a team, everybody will be held accountable, even if some of you are slacking. So there is, the rosters have been sent to you. You should know all the other players in the program. Lane has a little more grace because he's just joining us, but make sure that you guys are reaching out to the other players, and you can have assignments or a partner or something to hold yourselves accountable. But maybe it's you have 2 captains from the 16 making sure that everybody's doing their assignments, and 2 from the 17s that make sure they're doing all their assignments. Or however you guys want to do it, but we're a team. So as the coach, I shouldn't have to be the only one helping lead. Coach Lunt, Coach Hellstrom, Coach Willis, Coach Bulger, we're here to help you guys, but the best teams are player led. And that's what I want all of you guys to go back to your teams and be the leader. So leadership can be learned and taught and practiced. So all of you guys said you want to play in college, and ways that you can do it is just leading. That's one thing that if there's two players that are equal, but one of them's a leader and one of them's not, guess who's going to get the spot? So that's something that you can control that can improve your chances of whether you're trying to make a roster or you're trying to get a scholarship to play college basketball. You doing the little things that take little to no talent is important. And it kind of goes back to that message about acing the easy stuff. If it's easy, just make sure you don't half-ass it because it is easy, or procrastinate on it. Make sure that you do it to the best. And if you put your name on it, think about it. You're putting your name on it. You're turning in head college coaches, former head college coaches, college assistant coaches, former college assistant coaches, former college players are looking at that. And so if you're going to put your name on it, you want to associate your name with something that's quality. I would think, I would hope. Again, I don't know all of you as well yet, but I would hope that when you put your name on something, you want to be proud of it. So don't halfway your assignments. And you don't want to get on the coach's list where we're communicating back and forth in our coach's list saying, oh, I haven't heard if he's going to be there or not. Over communicate. I would say that it's better to over communicate than under communicate. An example, if you can't make something, I appreciate you guys that reach out and text me, but over communicating would be making sure you text the 4 other coaches too. It's not going to hurt. No coach is going to text back and say, don't message me and let me know that you're not going to be at practice. But if it's Coach Bulger that's there and he didn't know, and I get that you maybe let me know or let somebody else know, but over communicating, it's kind of like dressing up. It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. As in, if you show up to a meeting or a party, it's better for you to be a little bit more formal than to be underdressed. So you show up for a job interview and you're wearing a t-shirt that has like some stains on it or whatever. That's just because you think maybe it's just a casual interview. It's better to show up in a shirt and tie. And, you know, unless it's like Step Brothers where they show up in the tuxedos. Anybody seen Step Brothers? You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. Good. I'm glad there's some heads nodding because there is some youngsters that have never seen the classics. And it's sad that that's a classic that's not that old, I guess. It seems like it's old to you guys, but to me, it's not that old. It's probably 10 years, 15, I don't even know. But anyways, turn in your assignments, do them to the best of your ability. Don't half-ass things, especially if you're putting your name on it. You don't want to be in our group chat saying, hey, I haven't heard if he's going to be there or not. I thought he was going to be there. I don't know. Oh, he hasn't turned in his assignment. He hasn't done his amplitude, right? Like, make sure you guys are taking care of your business because this is just kind of an adult grown up lesson. But when you guys come up to us and complain about anything, which most of you haven't, but if you say stuff like, oh, well, why am I not playing? What can I do to play more? If you're not doing your stuff off the floor, then I would start with that. If you're not busting your ass on the floor, start with that. If you're still not playing, there's a reason why. I know there's kids that show up at Pacific and they're told they're on JV and they quit. Or their dad's telling them that coach is screwing you. That's why you're on JV. You're an all-star in my book. That's not what my dad would have told me to do if I faced adversity, is to quit. But there's kids that get that option as, oh, I don't get what I want, so I'm going to give up or quit or And that's not, like I said, that's not what my dad would have told me to do or tells me to do. And I hope that's not what your family is telling you to do if you get a little adversity. But it is important to think about how you handle adversity. I'm rambling. I get excited and fired up about this stuff. Some of it might go over, hit you. Some of it might go over your guys' head, but do your stuff, do your work. And otherwise, everybody will be held accountable. But especially, you don't want to be on coach's bad side. That's the bad body language, all those things. And I love Caleb because you're the type that listens and you are an active listener. You show that you're listening. So Caleb, that's what, not saying that's why you're in our program, but it was close. And I think you know that. And because you're that type of kid, that's why you're in the program. So I appreciate you tuned in and listening. All right. Is there anybody that has anything you want to say or give a shout out? We'll do one thing before we end, but if anybody wants to say something to the team, this is still recording, so you can tell the players, because I know some of you have been at all the meetings, and I say these little things like, hey, when you watch this on replay, message me right now and let me know. So I think Noah might have had to miss one, and then he messaged me and let me know, hey, I saw the video. I just heard you say to message you when I see this. And then there's some of you that weren't at the meeting that never messaged me about it. So I know you didn't take the half hour, 30 minutes or whatever it was to watch the video. And the thing is, if you're watching on replay, you guys are all smart. You know how to do 1.5 speed. I know I talk pretty fast anyway, but put it to 1.5 speed if you don't have the whole half hour. But you want to make sure that you're getting this information so we're all on the same page. All right, we'll let you guys get going. Coach Lunt, you have anything you want to say here before we sign off after I just got done lecturing them? Go for it. You're on mute still, but it is not letting you unmute yet. Yeah, we'll see if he's able to get back on, unless there's anybody that wants to say
Hello?
something. Here we go,
Can you hear me?
Coach. We got you.
So just wanted to talk about levels of leadership, just because Coach Miner brought this up, and I think it's something that's important to understand as far as how leadership works, and that there are levels to it. You know, the ground level, the first level is leading by example. Pretty sure all of you guys know what that looks like and what an example of that is. But in order to be a leader, you've got to be one of the hardest workers, one of the most on top of everything, organized. You all know that it's hard to respect and follow a leader who half-asses things, or who isn't 100% bought in or dialed in on what they need to do. And the older you get, the more you get part of teams, part of businesses, organizations. That's one of the biggest things. So leading by example. The other part is communication and organization. You've got to know what the hell's going on. So one of the examples I always bring up is you might be one of the hardest workers out on the floor, but if you don't know what we're trying to accomplish or what we're doing, you are just working really, really hard, but not working really, really smart. So that level 2 phase of leadership is that communication and organization. You've got to be able to, play as hard as you can, lead by example. You got to know what the hell's going on, and how it applies to whatever you were doing. And then the last piece of leadership, which comes into play, is the accountability piece, where you as a leader need to hold your teammates to a high standard, which leads to accountability and leads to sometimes some crucial conversations. But those are the 3 levels when you start breaking out leadership that are really, really important. And you all know how it is. Like, you have to have those levels in place in order to lead. So I always bring up this: if you want to skip to level 3 and you want to hold someone, accountable for their actions. If you don't play hard, or if you don't lead by example, then you're never going to get the attention of your teammates. Same thing with, you might be someone that has level 1 mastered, has level 3 mastered, but you don't know what the hell's going on. So it's hard to hold your teammates to a high standard and accountable if you don't even know what's going on. So when you start evaluating leadership, those 3 levels you've got to have in place. Now, we all know, and I think this is an important piece because I've dealt with a lot of players in my career. Like, you're always going to have some leaders that just are more comfortable with being on that level 1. Hey, coach, like, or that level 1 and level 2. I'm always going to play hard. I'm always going to compete. I'm always going to be the first one here. I'm always going to know what's going on. But as far as accountability, yeah, that's just not my cup of tea, and that's okay. Obviously, as a leader of a team, you want to try to persuade and you want to try to help grow players so that they can get all 3 levels. But we all know those players that are always the hardest workers, always know what's going on, and might not be the most vocal when it comes to accountability and confrontation and things like that. I would hope that every one of you, being the young adults you are striving to be at that level 3, where you are holding your teammates to the highest standard and accountable for everything. But you also got to know, in order to do that, you've got to have level 1 and level 2 mastered. Because if you don't have those, level 3 doesn't mean shit. So just wanted to share that knowledge because I know Coach Miner was talking a little bit about leadership, and that was always for one of my biggest mentors I had in my coaching career. That was great advice he had given me, and that's always kind of carried over. So that's my nugget for the day. Looking forward to seeing everyone on Friday.
Good stuff. I love that. The 3 levels of leadership. I would take that down and take that to heart. And I learned that's good. You can't be a level 3 leader if you haven't mastered the first 2. Sometimes people say, well, I just lead by example. I don't lead vocally. Well, work on it. If you can speak, you can be a vocal leader. So, all right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. Make sure you guys take care of your bodies. Be ready to go on Friday. I would check in with your teammates and see how they're doing with their assignments and make sure that they're doing what they should. And that's all I got. Let's go, Grit. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you on Friday. Let's go.